Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are having a fantastic one. Thank you so much for stopping on in, swinging by, as today we dive into a full album listen. Argent, Circus is the album we are diving into today. Their sixth studio album released in 1975. Several of you had suggested this particular album, and so I figured we might as well just, dive head first into it. That's going to be Cosmic Cat, Gaia Eternal, Dave, Wesley Coleman, music, Hatspo, Mr. Nobody. You're not a nobody in this part of town. You are somebody, just like everybody. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the suggestion for this album. I have it pulled up here, ready to go. We've listened to a couple of songs from Argent, and I mean that literally. We listened to Tragedy and Hold Your Head Up, but otherwise we have not had any sort of association with them. So I'm excited to dive into this and kind of get a more full picture of who they are, what they are, what they're about, all that, the full scope here of this album. And can I just tell you, I really like this album cover. I'm going to pull it up here so I can make it a little bigger for you. But I really like I almost ended the recording. I just really like the perspective. Like that's a cool perspective, like the top down kind of look. I think that looks really cool. Just works really well for them. So anyways, that is it. Shall we dive into it? Begin this album listen. I have no coffee, just a little water to go with it. And I think that's enough. So without further ado, the plugs, got to do that. I forgot. Press the like button. First and foremost, do that for me if you don't mind. The Buy Me a Coffee somewhere over here if you'd like to sponsor a song request, Patreon for exclusive content, and then YouTube, of course, right where you are. Stick around. Let's begin. Start off with the first track, which also happens to be the title track. That will be Circus. And this, my friends, is to you. Mellotron off the bat. I like. Kind of sounds like Canterbury a little bit. Soft Machine. This is very like Soft Machine. It's heavy. No time wasted on this. It's a great opening. I love that guitar tone on top of this. I love that fade. Wow. What an opening.
Circus, each must play a part. The clown.
That's very hacking, that guitar.
They're on the meaning of their art. In the circus, you can't be fool or made the king. The sound of laughter. The wedding of the ring.
All right. Well, I think it is worth noting what an opening that is. That is an incredibly tight, well played, good sounding opening and intro for the track. This was, you couldn't have set me up in a better way than with this song. And the way, okay, so you got Mellotron right at the beginning. That I'm already sold. Okay, sounds great. And I love how they build this really cool charge in here. This sounds so classic Canterbury in the very beginning, and then kind of moves into something a little bit reminiscent of Genesis. And I'm thinking, I'm feeling like, because the guitar in here reminds me of Steve Hackett with like the volume pedals, the way it's used, and those long notes. It's just very Hackett-esque. Okay, so on guitar, you have two guitarists. You're going to have John Verity and then John Grimaldi. Really, really fantastic guitars. I don't know who's taking that particular lead at that section, but really love that. Then the drums, Robert Henritz, and percussion as well. The double bass there just like is so thick and dense and palpable and powerful, just moving things along, just creating this rumbling. And he's not playing the double bass in like a metal kind of thrashy kind of way. He's just doing, and then everyone's kind of rumbling and tumbling on top of that. I think that's sensational. And then finally, when the vocals do come in from Argent himself, he sounds epic. He has a little bit of a bite and a grit to the way he sounds and sings, but he sounds like the master of ceremonies for this circus. He sounds like he is the ringleader. He's the one directing everyone, you know, the clowns to the clown car, the seal to the ball to balance, and the trapeze, you know, the high wire. Like, he's the one that's organizing all this, and he has that kind of showstopper and showmanship in his delivery there. This is a really awesome opening track. I'm pulling it back here really quick. Doesn't this sound like Soft Machine? I love that guitar on top of it, because it's so interesting. The contrast, the drums are like, it sounds like something incoming, like it's heavy. The keys and the synths are chopping it up, very Canterbury style. The guitar is playing long sustained notes. That is a really fantastic, almost melancholic kind of melody with the like with that. Wow, that was horrible, my recreation of that. But like, it's interesting, this assortment of sounds that are so different from one another, and how together they come really nicely in fold. And then get into the vocals. I love how it just continues, the music. It's like Argent just jumps on top of it. Okay, but in the back, that guitar does, wow. It does kind of make a catty kind of sound. This is a really awesome opening track, and not a lot of lyrics. He comes in, 2/3 of the way in. In the circus, each must play a part. The clown, the jester mirror the meaning of their art. In the circus, you can be fool or maybe king. The sound of laughter is in the wedding of the ring. Of the ring. Like, not the ring, even though it's double entendre, but the ring of the circus. But all are found seeking the love of the crowd, and all are reaching out. In the circus, in the circus, in the circus. Yes, they are reaching out for more of that good music that you got. How about we move into the next? You know what I'm just noticing? I'm actually just noticing this. That's that every song has something to do with the circus. I wasn't looking at the track listing before, but now that I have it pulled it, I'm checking it out. Huh. So we got either a concept album, we'll see how the story plays out, or at least a thematic one within this circus. All right, let's move on to the next track. The High Wire Act is what we have lined up. Definitely going along with the album cover. And this is also going to be the longest track on the album, clocking in at a nice 9 minutes. Let's go. Some very catchy guitar lines. They got the funk and the rhythm, but a lot of progressive playfulness on the melodies and the notes. Love the vocals. Those humming vocals, really pleasant. Slide it down. Really nice how this guitar solo started. Give him another round.
From the highway.
That is very John Anderson.
See the pair who bear the flame, prepared to take it to the five-flyer. Looking down, down. Fair and warm, the sounds that drift the morning from the firewire. How do your heart begins to mingle with the sweet light?
That is so yes. I love that synth. Oh, wow.
Celebration, swell the nation, singing to the highway. With amazing grace.
This is a great section that's changed from how the previous one.
Looking down, down.
What a feel-good song. And a Mellotron interlude. This is when they're allowed to go loose, man. I feel like this is a track that has everything, honestly. I love a solo back and forth between guitar and keys. Just having a classic duel. Pull it right back. They did it again. Growl on that. Okay, well, first of all, Highwire deserves to go on my playlist personally, so let's do that. Okay, why didn't anyone recommend this track to me? No one said anything about Highwire. No one said anything about this track. Okay, well, Cosmic Cat and Gaia Eternal. Okay, you guys did mention Highwire. This is, to me, okay, I know, first reaction, but I feel like this is very much up there with some of the classic progressive rock classics that we've heard. I feel like this can go right in the mix with them. This is an incredibly well-executed track, and it has everything. Catchy chorus, sensational instrumental parts, great moments and sections that are broken up into, and you can hear the different sections in here. I don't see any movements necessarily, but you could feel that there's at least 4 movements in here. And I really love how I like when, how do I put this? With prog, you know, it's known, of course, for dazzling instrumentals, time signatures out the wazoo, and, you know, okay, we know that. And I love when a band does that, but they make it a song. Sounds obvious. But what I mean is, like, it's not, it may be, but it doesn't sound like just a platform for the band to display their prowess when it comes to their instruments. It sounds like they wrote a song and then said, you know, I think we can play with the structure a little bit. Because they wrote a well-sung, catchy song, which we got bookending this particular track. And I love when a band does that and then creates an instrumental middle section that, while it does stray from the path of the song, the meat of this, it still makes sense and it still connects like a Highwire act. You got the 2 platforms on the top. The person's going to start on this side, and he has to get to this side by crossing that little wire. And so, in the very similar sense, that's what the band does. They start over here, they create a great song, great verse, chorus, like just fantastic. And in that wire, that's when they play around. That's when they get to go out a little bit. And there's so many cool moments in there. You have the section where, the tempo picks up and eventually leads to a dueling solo between the keyboards and the guitar. That's awesome. Then it moves into that Mellotron kind of spacey section. Great. Eventually we get back to the other side of the platform and we've made it across the high wire. Like, there's ways that this can be broken down, and every single moment in this track is fun to listen to. Argent sounds great. I really like his singing in here. And I love those hummed vocals and harmonies that you hear at certain moments that kind of bring the music down. Then the Mellotron rises right after that. The guitars and the key melodies are so strong throughout in every single second here. So I'm going to pull it back here. And the funk, the groove of it, ba, 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 ba. And the way they play around with it is so, so good. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Like, strong piano playing in the back, right? Get those chords down. Get that foundation down. That's what those piano chords are acting at. And then everything else can groove off of that and build off of that in such a great way. The Mellotron, that phasing kind of quick in and out, that's kind of hinting at things to come. The little yelp he gives, that builds the fun factor of this particular platform, of this bookend of it. Like I said, this part, even if you crumpled up the middle section of a piece of paper, tossed it out, you have a great song here. But it's just made better by what eventually takes place. Love the guitar, scooping up. You get those little melodies that come in, and he does it again, that once again kind of act as this little bit of a forward before we get into the main solos and instrumental sections that come in later. Another transition. Okay, this humming, I love that. And the Mellotron, piano, and right back into it. Like, isn't that fun to listen to? Every time he whips it back into it and he gives us that little yelp, it just sounds fun. And then we get into, what in the John Anderson is this? You cannot tell me that they didn't have some sort of inspiration, even if by chance, of Yes and John Anderson here, because this whole section feels like it. Yeah, so you can get the rest of the band kind of singing. That is such in the round, singing in the round. Come on, man. And then that leads into the Mellotron interlude, spacey, but then the duel comes up. This is the ripping it. Now, I don't know if this is Argent versus Verity or Argent versus Grimaldi or Verity versus, they're all in the mix here, but it's a battle. And I love how that heats things up. Very, very strong drumming in here throughout the whole thing. It's just incredible. But I love how it just ups that tempo, ups the ante, and leads and leads and leads. And eventually we break into, let me see if I can find it. We break away back into, we're getting there. Let it return, let it return. Right there. The way that they snap back and lock in so perfectly back to the groove and eventually bookending this song, reaching the other end of the platform, is perfect. This is how you write a song. And this is how you write a progressive rock song and just make it make sense and make it flow. You just get everything right. Just get everything right. I'm on a high wire, moving far above the ground. I'm on a high wire, baby, watching me death defying. It's getting dangerous. I feel the juices start to rise. I'm on a high wire and I'm alive. I'm on a wheel of fire, spilling my breath into the ground. I'm on a bareback cannonball, chasing the speed of sound. It's getting dangerous. I'm feeling the crowd begin to rise. On a cannonball, and I'm alive. I'm alive. He's definitely getting some sort of high being up on that wire. Sharp the dawn, the morning light descending from the high wire. See the pair who bear the flame, prepare to take it to the fire flyer, looking down, down, down. Come on, that even sounds like yes. Come on. Fair and warm, the sounds that drift the morning from the live wire. Have to yawn, the horns begin to mingle with the sweet lyre, going down, down. Celebration swells the nation, singing to the high wire with amazing grace and sweet sensation, captured by the high flyer, looking down. And it just repeats the first verses there again. I mean, can I tell you, on one hand, I really do feel like, yes, this is just another act in the circus, and that's all the lyrics reference, and talking about the adrenaline rush that's happening up there and some of the tension. But there's also a couple lines in here that make me think maybe this is could be something else also in here. Anyways, let us move forward into the next track. So far, the album is 2 for 2. Let's see if we can go for 3. Clown. It's the Phantom of the Opera notes. I love the mood of it, though.
By the warm spotlight, I breathe the meaning of the words that I must need. The coldest seas of my sleeping mind.
The backing vocals are a great staple in the band, I've noticed.
Until no peace I find. Through fields of Elysium beg to see my life.
Singing so easy.
Again. And here I stand in love's reveal. The clown, feel the clown, and who can doubt this maiden fool who walks upon the circus stage is just.
They just hit you with a sunburst of harmony.
Good as just a clown. No mind to color now, no page to write.
Well,
Cold pools of morning stain the virgin white.
I just cut out.
Another day without
I'm good.
her love, and I still need her. So the stage is set, the time is right, and waves of laughter shake the thoughts tonight.
This is a beautiful song. I love those watery keys. I love that slow down on the keys. So not that is an expressive tone from the synth. Okay. Ooh, I got to add this one onto my playlist as well. Okay. Okay. A lot of you know me by now. A lot of you know my likes. And I love a slow down groove with blissful keys, watery synths or keyboards or piano, incredibly strong vocal melodies like that. And this ends the first side of the album. Okay, this is another perfect song, I think, from the band. One thing I'm noticing now, especially with the last two tracks, those harmonies, the background harmonies from the rest of the band behind Argent, seem like a pretty key feature, at least from these last couple of tracks and perhaps in the band itself. And they are so strong, whether it's the humming, that from the previous track, or how they create this really beautiful surrounding. In a lot of the moments in this one, they're a key feature. So yeah, they're handling their instruments as an accordance, but they're doing some really nice vocals behind everything. Argent is incredibly soulful, so talented in not only his singing, but his approach to the piano. You got the Phantom of the Opera, bum, 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 notes there and that progression. But that solo that he just relinquishes himself to at the end is so subtle. It's so sensual. It's touching. I love solos on the synths that one have that kind of tone. They're just so smooth and kind of near jazzy, loungy to me. But also, when the notes aren't played so fast, just relax and let the notes carry their own weight. Let it sustain out a little bit, and then move to the next one. Like it's just very purposeful, that kind of playing, and I think that is utterly romantic and beautiful. His synth playing almost takes the place of what would be like a saxophone solo when that starts up. Even the tone kind of has a little breathiness, like you would have in a sax. I want to get to the very beginning of the solo. Those harmonies, man, are just heavenly. I was trying to wait till the solo comes in. It should be here. It even has a blowing. There's a blowiness to it, but I love how you have those parts in there where the synth, like if he presses the note and holds it, it doesn't just stay stagnant. It has a little bit of a wavering in the notes and in the sound, like you just heard there when he hit this one note. The next one, that. Well, he probably actually hit a few notes like really quickly. Just probably did one of these. But either way, like I just love how those notes have a little bit of a, I guess, a give to them. They're not so taut and restricted to like one particular sign, like, or notes. Like, they have waves. The waves are waving. I think that's awesome. Like I said, obviously the harmonies, like the singing and the harmonies are everything is immaculate here. I love the way they return. And I haven't mentioned him whatsoever in any of our reviews so far, but Jim Rodford on the bass, he creates a really nice depth of warmth for the band to play in. And in some of the faster moments, he's playing really fast with everyone. But I like it in a track like this where it's more relaxed and he just kind of pulls along the weight of everything melodically, but also rhythmically as akin to bass. And it's just really cool how like he fills those gaps. But this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful track. The singing and the keyboards are, I think, the huge standouts here. And this is one of those tracks from the beginning I know I'm going to like. 1 second, 2 seconds. That's all I need. 2 seconds. I know I like this track. You give me a groove like that, and and eventually the piano coming down from that. Actually, I just noticed that the synth or the keys build it up, and bum 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 bum, and then the piano bum 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 brings it down. So there's actually a nice movement, actually, just between that. I didn't even think about that before, or really hear, I guess, that clearly. The one ascending, bum, 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 with that bubbly kind of key sound, and then the piano, those heavy chords, thumping back down, and then it kind of goes back and forth in that movement. That's actually really cool. I didn't even notice that at that particular point. So far, the album's 3 for 3. No minor love can make the darkness right, alone deserted by a warm spotlight. I breathe the meaning of the words that I must need her. colder seas of my sleepy mind, make muddy dreams until no peace I find. Through fields Elysian, beg to see my life again, once again. Isn't that where Maximus Decimus Meridius eventually found himself? In those Elysian fields. And here I stand at last, revealed a clown, revealed the clown, revealed the clown. And who can doubt this painted fool who walks upon this circus stage is just a clown. No mind to color now, no page to write. Cold pools of morning stain the virgin white. Another day without her love, and I still need her. I mean, it's very straightforward. This is the sad clown who must still jump and laugh and entertain and folly for others, and yet internally, he's not wearing the smile that's painted on him. And so the stage is set, the time is right, and waves of laughter shake the gods tonight. Another day will make a fool delight the children. And so I stand at last, revealed a clown, revealed a clown. It just repeats that from there. Who can doubt the painted fool who always walk upon the stage is just a clown? But he's more than that. Even though right now he feels just like that, without her being near. This side was fantastic. I'm hoping that the rest of this album continues up with this caliber, because this has been an incredibly enjoyable experience and album so far. So let's go ahead and flip to the other side and move into this next track, Trapeze. Here we go. Really glad I chose this album to listen to today. This is really good. That's how you start the other side of the album. Getting everything lined up. What kind of old 70s progressive soul is this? It's very like Stanley Clarke.
Flying high, turning in space, indecision, faltering grace. Pain crowd, blinding white light, upturned faces, shadows of night.
There's almost like a scattered kind of structure to this. Heat it up. This is very like jazz fusion. This particular kind of separation. like how hazy and kind of psychedelic this is.
Flying trapeze. Ravaged dreams, sweat from my brow, free fall vision, dragging me down.
Oh, that was a nice explosion here. See, now it's not scattered, it's locked in as streamlines. Okay. Now we're rocking. I like how dark that sounded.
Headlong into dread, hoping, praying I'll find the path to tread.
That organ is so crispy. Man, is that organ crispy. And back to that startup. Okay. Trapeze is trapeze. I love a hot cowbell.
Spinning world, motion memory, premonition, time will reveal. Worthless years passing me by. Resolution taking me high.
Writing that thing down. The band has done an awesome job of for a new listener, making their identity well known and very well established. They have a very particular sound, but then also kind of diversifying their portfolio, I guess you could say. Circus, the beginning track, was a big energetic opener with, mostly instrumental, and then the vocals came at the end. But it's so strong how that came in. Highwire, our first epic. This is our second, 9 minutes long, and it is exciting. It is catchy. It's a perfect, to me, it's a perfect progressive song. Clown slows things down, pulls it all back, gives us something very restful, very straightforward and relaxing, built in subtlety and sensuality. And then Trapeze here, it kind of moves into something a little bit more psychedelic, I would say, and slightly more experimental. The excuse me, the groove of it all, the melody, the way all the instruments are placed in the room of production, it's very spaced out. And the way that they play, it almost hits a kind of scatter-mindedness that makes the rhythm very, clunky. And I don't mean like in a bad way quality-wise. I just mean the music moves in this very machine-like kind of way in which it almost feels like every musician is almost playing separately, and then they brought it back together. But production kept some of it apart a little bit. I don't know. There's a roominess in here that I think is really cool how, to me, psychedelic this sounds. It's like they're all jamming together, but separately. That's this part. Here. There's something about the separation of it all. And that is so, 70s jazz fusion. If I said previously we kind of hit Canterbury scene, like this, we're moving into, it remind me of, Stanley Clarke, and if you took Mahavishnu and kind of slowed it down a little bit in some of their tracks, whereas before we were kind of getting Canterbury sound and Soft Machine. But I think that is so cool how, I'm hearing certain maybe inspirations, but I still feel like they're very, very much of their own identity as well. And I think that this part was just really, really cool. This is their way of just putting down a cool funk, a cool jam, and then writing it. And then even the way that Argent himself sings on here, the times that he comes in are it feels like a little bit off. The time signature, I don't know exactly what it is, but the times that he comes in and delivers his lines are a little off. But I feel like that's a vocal trapeze act, as he's kind of spinning in the air and landing and grabbing the other trapeze. And I don't know, I feel like there's something to that. I feel like that's kind of what they're going for vocally in the way that he's landing on the beat there. But I think that's really interesting how they built up to that. Then get a little nice little solo here. Okay, that's cool. I love the choppiness of it all. But then there's a switch here, man. This feels like now the actual act has begun. This feels like now the adrenaline is rushing through the performers, and they're grabbing, the handles, and they're swinging in the air, hopefully grabbing the next handle. There's a net below them, but you don't want to fall still. And I feel like that's where the action of this track starts. That's where it really gets going and the movement gets underway. And I love, once again, the tones and the sounds that Argent uses for, all the solos and the melodies here. But this is just awesome. And so tense, but melodic as well. And the melodies are kind of there's a little bit of a darkness, I would say, to them. There's something very tense about it, besides just the rushing and momentum of the music. And then it gets heavy. This is just getting blues rock heavy for a second. You see, so it's going through all these different directions, but throughout this whole track, there's been something uncanny, heavy, a little dark, tense about it, and then they eventually open up and relinquish all that anxiety as they get back to the end. Because now this feels to me like celebration. That feels like we made it. But I think that this track just goes through this really cool kind of experimental section and progression that is, once again, showing the diversity in this album while still maintaining who they are. Flying high, turning in space, indecision, faltering grace. You don't want to have any indecision. If you're flying through the air on the trapeze, you better have a decision to grab the handle in front of you. Baying crowd, blinding white light, upturned faces, shadows of night. Trusted hands catch me with ease, life's ambition, flying trapeze. Good. That's the anxiety immediately ridden. Ravaged dreams sweat from my brow, free fall vision dragging me down. Flying, sighing, headlong into dread, hoping, praying I'll find the path to tread. Spinning world, motion unreal, premonition, time to reveal. Worthless years passing me by, resolution taking me high. See, so I also feel like in looking at the lyrics for these tracks that you could take all of the lyrics at face value. It's just talking about the part of the circus that the lyrics are featured in here at the trapeze. Yeah, and it makes complete sense. But you could also, I think, dive a little bit deeper, and such as in this track, the lyrics, I think, can be applied to maybe life lessons or something a little bit bigger. As he says there, worthless years passing me by, but resolution, having a goal, being resolved to do something, to whatever it might be, that's what takes you high. That's what lifts you. So like a trapeze act, you're flying through the air. You could fall, you could falter, you can be laid to rest with indecision, or you can be resolute, take some initiative, and fly high and perhaps achieve that goal or that dream that you're wanting to achieve. All you gotta do is grab the other hand, reaching out for you. Let us move forward into the next track here, which I can't say I immediately recognize how this may relate to the circus, but we'll find out maybe in listening to it. Shine On Sunshine.
She reminds me of
Kind of sounds like Freddie Mercury a little bit, now that I
the breath of summer sun.
like a little bit.
It breaks the cool daylight when morning has begun. So shine on, sunshine. Paint my life of gray. So shine on, sunshine. Warm my life away.
Pull it back again.
Better yet by far.
Another feel-good slow song. I love it.
The best I ever saw. The rain that breaks. The rain that breaks.
Some queeniness to it.
And our love sure. So shine on, sunshine. Spread your light my way. Shine on, shine on, sunshine. Weave your spell always.
That feels good to listen to.
I get weary, but she only has to smile. And all my fears soon forgotten for a while. She melts the care away. I feel love shine someday. Surely I must be first in life's own mystery.
It's a cute little guitar solo. And that sweet blues kind of sound, for sure. Okay, so kind of like Clown, we kind of back off of the energy of Trapeze and move into something very, very much softer and lighter fare. So Shine on Sunshine is a very piano ballad kind of led track here with, once again, great vocals, a nice guitar solo in there, some cool effects from the keys from Argent handled in the song as well. Like, it's a feel good track, and this one's very stripped down bare. The vocals and some of those harmonies especially remind me a little bit of Queen as well. But it's a well executed track. I think that this one kind of comes and goes. It feels good, it sounds nice, but I don't think it's necessarily memorable. I think it's a good track though, but it just doesn't hit the same in any respect as the previous ones. But I don't think that there's anything in this one that I can necessarily fault with. It's just that it doesn't hit the same as like Clown, Highwire, or any of these other songs so far that we've listened to. So I guess on one hand, sounds so harsh, but I don't mean it that way. On one hand, this is so far the worst song on the album, but it's not a bad song. That makes sense. Like I would, if I had to rate this, I would give it like a 3 out of 5. It sounds nice. It just doesn't do anything for me. Whereas every other track so far has been incredibly wonderful. But in pacing of the album, I still think that this makes great sense at this particular points to have a nice piano-led track here. And I do like those watery effects that kind of came in the second verse forward. Those wow. I don't know how else to describe the effects, but that's how it sounded like to me. She reminds me of the breath of summer sun that breaks the cool daylight when morning's begun. So shine on, sunshine, paint my life of gray. Shine on, sunshine, warm my life always. Better yet, by far the best I ever saw. The rain that breaks your heart won't bend our love for sure. So shine on, sunshine, spread your light my way. Shine on, sunshine, weave your spell always. Oh, I get wary, but she only has to smile, and all my fears soon forgotten for a while. She melts the care away. I feel love shine some days. Surely I must be immersed in life's whole mystery. Shine on, sunshine, paint your life my way. Shine on, sunshine, weave your spell life away. Now, it's a nice song, beautiful. Don't know exactly what it has to do with the circus. If this one, I don't really hear anything or see anything that really fits in. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, weave your spell. Are they weaving spells at the circus? I suppose in a way, with the acrobatics, but I'm not quite sure. Either way, nice little love song. Nice little feel-good song. Nothing wrong with that. Let's hit the last two tracks here together because the next one is only 1 minute and 20 seconds long. That will be The Ring, and it says instrumental next to it. And then we'll finish with The Jester. Here we go. That panning, it's something. It's strong. Nice little instrumental. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Little interlude for the finale. Oh, there's your finale. Sounds like ELP.
She may break spirit, he may play your life. You can only bear it, you must just smile. If you will dance, you'll dance all night. He can romance the pure daylight. Romance.
That is it's a very ELP sound.
Which way will it tumble? Which way will they tumble? Will they tumble? Who will break me? Who can crack that wall? It is with him your fortune lies, and in the wind who bears the price. Call out the jester, you know he only plays for himself. He only plays for himself. He don't care about. He only plays.
This is the band going out with a bang and having Argent on stage.
Call out the jester, you know he only plays for himself. He only plays for himself. He don't care about the good luck in you. He only laughs about the things that you do. He don't worry about love. He don't worry about love.
He ain't worried about it.
He don't.
Hitting the bar blues saloon piano. The ragtime. I think it's so funny. This is how we end. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Full complete listen of Circus by Argent. And I think it's hilarious that we ended with some ragtime right at the very end. So The Jester is definitely living up to its name as being the fun, the silly, the most like, to me, this is the most fun track. And it sounds like the band is just having a great time on stage. So that's where I just picture them as they just jam out. They play, they frolic, they're jolly. Maybe they're even in costumes, who knows? But it just sounds like they are just letting loose in the most fun way. At this particular point of the album, I think that everything in this track is great. Singing is wonderful. Some really cool synth and keyboard moments as well. Really like the groove of it all and how it's delivered. Before that, the synth does in many ways sound like Emerson also, by the way. Some of those particular tones that we heard in here. And I have a recency bias because yesterday I was mowing the lawn and I was listening to Trilogy. That was my album I put on while I was listening, or I was mowing the lawn yesterday. So like I have them just in the back of my head. But there goes the hooms come back. I love those harmonies. There's parts of this that sound like Queen a little bit again. Well, let me get to the verse. Here. Okay. The structure going back and forth on a line, an instrument, and then that part with this quick splashes. Like this just sounds like the band is on fire and they're just letting loose. If this is their entertainment, this is them like putting on a show, I think is the best way to describe this. And I think it's a fun way to end the album. I will say, as we kind of get towards closing everything out, I will say this one also doesn't really hit me as much as some of the tracks on the first half. So I think the first half of the album is stronger than the second, but I also don't think the second half of the album is bad. I just think the first half is so good. But let's look at the lyrics first before we kind of dive into all that. Oh, and I didn't even mention The Ring. Nice little interlude with some synths. Honestly, there wasn't really much to it. He may break your spirit, he may play a while. You can only bear it, you must just smile. If he would dance, you'll dance all night. He can romance the pure daylight. Call out the jester, you know he only plays for himself. Which way will they tumble? Which way will they fall? Who would break the mirror? Who can crack the wall? It is with him your fortune lies, in the wind who bears the prize. Surprise. Call out the jester, you know he only plays for himself. So it could be, of course, naturally talking about a jester within a circus, a jester in a court. There's a part of this that also makes me think for some reason that could be oh, those are jokers. I was thinking of a deck of cards. Never mind. Forget what I was about to say. But going back to what I was saying, this definitely sounds like it's talking about, the jester, but he's entertaining, kind of like the clown, but he's doing it for himself, it says. There's a selfishness that he's that's involved with like his playfulness, that he's entertaining the crowd, but he's also doing it for himself. Why does he only do it for himself? Why does it say that? He don't care about the love in you. He only plays. Call out the jester. You know he only plays for himself. He only plays for himself. He doesn't care about the good luck in you. He only laughs about the things that you do. He don't worry about luck. He don't worry about luck. He's not worried about anything external. Not worried about you. He doesn't care about what happens. He only cares and plays for himself. I feel like there's something more to that. I feel like there's an implication there, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Like, why does the jester only care for himself? Why does the jester only play with himself and for himself? I don't know. I'm not sure. I did read a book a long time ago when I was in high school called The Jester. I think it was by James Patterson. It was a historical fiction novel about a jester that rose up the ranks, so to speak. Actually starting a rebellion and such. All right. It was a good book from what I remember. All right, so let's look at some of the info for this particular album. It was the last album as part of their contract with CBS Records and the first after the departure of founding member and lead vocalist and guitarist Russ Ballard. New lead vocalist John Verity was added at the recommendation of Ballard. The album was recorded during an intense session after the new lineup of the band workshopped and practiced the material written largely by Argent. Prior to this album, Argent had been working with his songwriting collaborator Chris White on material for the band. The band quickly followed up with a second album, Counterparts, the same year. This album is a concept album using the circus as a metaphor for life. Okay. The album charted at number 171 in Billboard, and it received a CD release, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely see that, the whole circus as a metaphor for life. I wasn't looking at it in such a grand scale way, but with that in mind, it does definitely make sense. So actually, if we go back to the jester, in that case, could they be saying that if you're selfish and you only care about yourself and you only think for yourself, or you only do things for yourself, you're a jester and maybe you're only hurting yourself? I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, like I said, the first side of this album, in my opinion, is 5 out of 5. I think Circus is perfect. I think High Wire is perfect. I think Clown is perfect. Trapeze, I think is I would put it at maybe an 8 out of 10. If I was ranking things, Shine On Sunshine, 3 out of 5. I don't know why my fractions change. The Ring, honestly, I wouldn't rate it because it's just a little interlude. It doesn't really do anything. And then Jester, a nice ending. Just doesn't stand out and stand up, I think, to the first 3 tracks. Of those, obviously my favorites would be High Wire and Clown, since that's what I added to my playlist. I think those are awesome. But what do you think? What are your favorite tracks from the album? How do you feel about this one as a whole? I would love to know down below in the comments. I appreciate you all joining me here today and hopefully enjoying going through the album alongside with me. If for whatever reason you didn't at the beginning of the video, press that like button for me. It helps a great deal. And I think that's it. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, morning, afternoon, or night. And I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.